So today I'm sharing some easy spring stroke Easter crafts. I've had an afternoon of crafting, so I thought I'd share what I've got. The first one is pretty much, I think you could get your hands on most of these items in your home. Maybe not so much the embellishments, but obviously everything else. So here I've got a jar. Obviously thoroughly cleaned out and everything. Put a light mixture of water and PVA glue onto the glass, covered it over with tissue paper. I went for cream just because it goes with my scheme. And then another sort of coat of glue to seal it. Then with the lid, I had some of this very thick ropey twine that I've covered the lid. This rabbit here I got in a set that I got from, I think this set came from The Works, I think, and it came in 3 different sizes. So I've put the larger one on the lid and I took it down as far as I could, just so it doesn't affect the screw a bit. Inside it's actually got some battery lights that I got from Poundland, and although when I have got it on, I do leave the lid off in case obviously the lights get warm, so I tend to have it like that, or that's how I will have it. And that's what it looks like on there. Then I finished it off with another one of these little rabbits. This one came in a box from Poundland, and I've just put another little bit of twine round, and then I've got this twine going round in like a zigzag going down. Again, I wanted to keep it fairly neutral on this one, and then finished off with the same sort of rope twine at the bottom, just so it all matches. So that is the first craft. As I said, I'm really pleased how this come out, and you don't have to do it as for Easter. You can do it for any occasion or just for general decor. So that is the first one, and as I said, I'm really pleased how that came out. For the second craft I used one of these hearts that I got from The Works. It was £1. Besides this item, I had everything already purchased and in my stash. So this, out of all of it, I basically, for an afternoon of crafting, I only really actually paid out £1, and this was rather recent for this board. And I did continue how I was going to. So I covered the other side, which I'll share in a moment. And I used this, well, it is double-sided, but this is what I wanted, this wood effect. I was going to paint it. Remember me saying I was going to paint it? And so instead of painting, I thought, you know, I was feeling a little bit rough, but you know, I thought I'd have a crafting session due to the fact that, you know, I didn't feel like doing much else after I'd done my chores of the morning. So I used this paper instead of painting, and this is what I came up with. And to tell you the truth, it came out better than what I expected. So as I say, what I tend to do was turn it over, drawn around it, but I did it slightly bigger than what it needed to be, because to tell you the truth, it was easier to snip around with a pair of scissors around it once I'd stuck it to the board. So that's what I did. And then the letters that I already had, I've had these years, I didn't completely have all the letters that I needed, and it's these cardboard letters here, so these. And again, because I didn't want to paint them, I actually used anything that was at hand was this black Sharpie pen, and that's what I used on the letters. And I had the O and the P, that wasn't a problem. The H I didn't. I had a U and I had an I. So what I did was I turned the U upside down, and with the I cut off just about there so I could make the rest of the H. And because of the gap here, and it would have shed, it was done by mistake actually, this part. I was just mucking about and thought, how can I cover that up? And I decided to use a mini rabbit, and just to sort of balance up, I put another one between the O and the P, as you can see, hop. And this is what I planned to do. Originally, my plan was to do 3 different size rabbits down the bottom, but after I'd done this, I liked it better this way. Plus, having 3 rabbits would have been far too much, it would be too crowded. And I just put the larger rabbit at the bottom, which is these, which I'm sure these came from the works. As I said, they've got 3 different sizes. You can see we've got the large there, the larger one, the medium and the tiny one. And then I took off the twine that was originally on here and just put some ribbon, and I then made that bow just to cover the whole like so. Again, my sort of colour scheme at the moment, really muted in our home. So again, I was really pleased. It came out a lot better than what I'd hoped, and basically adapting what I also had. So that's the second one. And now for my third and final craft of the afternoon. So this is what I used. I picked up a couple of these. I'm sure I may have picked them up, I'm not sure. You know, on clearance, I'm not again sure. These were, I believe, from Poundland, out of the Christmas range, probably a couple of years ago now, and it's this white wicker. Thinking about it, if it had been just not on clearance but just normal, I probably would have built a lot more of these. But as I say, it was in the Christmas range. Always think out the box, and I know I keep saying that because these can be used for any time of year due to the fact it's not necessarily Christmas related. So that's what I use, and I do apologize I did not share or show you when I was making them. To tell you the truth, I was, as hubby keeps saying, I was winging it. I had an idea in my mind what I wanted to accomplish, and I was lucky that all 3 items turned out pretty good to my standards anyway. So this is the start, and this is the one I made earlier, and this is it. I am so pleased. It's not necessarily in the colour scheme I'm using this year in our home. This may actually go to our caravan, which we're going up to shortly in the next few days. So there it is. So that's how it is, and there's the ribbon to hold it up. Now, everything I've used on here I already had in my stash. So I brought these rings, it must be about 2, maybe 3 years ago now. I know it's been a long time. The same as everything else. To my knowledge, no, nothing was brought new. They're all a fair few years old, even 5 or 6 years old, all these pieces. These are the eggs I said about, and they usually got on a tree. Too fuddy-duddy for me now for this year. So I actually cut off the loops and just left, you might be able to see it in between some of them. They have got like the little ribbon bow. But the loops, what I've done is I painstakingly made little bows to put on these wooden rabbits, because I cut off the cotton off these rabbits here, and I covered the hole up using a bow, which was only a small piece of ribbon, so it's quite fiddly, but I wanted to use it. And then all the other ribbons, like the pink ones, that were on the other eggs, what I'd done was I put a little tiny bit of glue and then I just poked it in between, and that's what these ribbons are, you know, coming out of the sides. I did in this instant use, like I did with that other plait, I did use my glue gun on this occasion due to the fact it was quick drying glue, and it was a lot easier holding the eggs in place. And then I finished it off. I was actually going to throw these little mini ones away because I didn't have another use for them. I used to have them in a little jar in my cubby, but I've tried to keep it down to a minimum in there because I've got so much going on. But I didn't want to use them around our home because I was afraid that our granddaughter might think they're sweet, you know, they're like the little mini eggs. So she found one sort of out and about, so I stuck those on, but I did the main eggs first of all, then in little gaps I put these little eggs. Then I decided to put these, I had these 4 rabbits, so they're wooden ones that could be put on a tray. Again, put that on. I had a few of these carrots left, the glittery ones. I do prefer the plain ones, like the velvety type ones rather than the glitter, but I think it works in this instant. And then even the bow, I didn't make the bow, that came off an Easter tin out of my Easter decor. The tin is going to our granddaughter with pieces in, but I've used it because I liked the green just to go in with the colour scheme. So realistically, as I said, this was a not spend, this one, because everything I repurposed and reused, and I am so chuffed with how it came out, especially as I was looking at these sort of things, along with I'm hoping to do a pom-pom one, so I might do the pom-pom wreath on here, so that probably come up shortly. And even the pom-pom one, depending on the colours that I'm going to use, could be used for any time of year as well. But when I was looking in TK Maxx and HomeSense, these sort of things like the pom-pom wreaths were really expensive. Some of them were going for £16 and £24. I know this is not a big one, but I think for the caravan it is going to be a nice size. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.